Hi,
Hi,
I'm Haima.
I am Nikhil Taneja.
I'm an events and social media consultant and a model.
I am the co founder and CEO of YUA, a youth media organization that makes socially conscious and mental health positive content.
Here's what I think about.
Social media, boon or goon.
I agree. Yes, I think it can be. Social media is pretty addictive, and I think it can severely affect your mental health. In fact, compulsive use of social media did sort of worsen my own mental health. However, at the same time, I do think it can serve to be really cathartic and help you find spaces or communities that you wouldn't otherwise. So, I do think that it sort of comes down to how much we regulate our own social media usage and also how we think it could help or harm our personal health.
I agree to that. I completely agree to that. I think social media can be very addictive. It is in many ways a very dangerous addiction as well. You're constantly wired, constantly connected. You constantly feel like you cannot survive and live without your phone or your social or the social media apps. You're looking for the dopamine hits of notifications. You wake up every morning to check your phone just to see whether you got any more likes, shares, comments, any DMs saying showing appreciation or saying that someone likes you. And that's what social media has made us addicted to, a constant desire and urge and need to be connected, to constantly know within the span of every 30 seconds, 1 minute sometimes, whether there is anybody else who has reached out to us. And that can be very very it's very dangerous. It's unlike any other drug.
I disagree. I think social media has definitely created many more outlets for perpetuating violence and has definitely deeply impacted those who are at the receiving end of it. That's usually minority groups. It obviously has its perks. I mean, it has helped people and communities connect in ways unimaginable before. But I do think the anonymity of it by social media and its reach and just the misuse of it to spread hate is really concerning. Although I do think this is a larger conversation about how social media is a medium of spreading violence than being the sole cause of it.
I would say this. I mean, and if I had to pick, then this. But yeah, I think social media has democratized expression. It has democratized, people. It has democratized reach. You don't need to be of a certain kind of a background, a certain kind of a community. You do not need to have a certain kind of money in your bank account to be able to express yourself on social media and to be able to go viral. People on the internet don't really care about how much money you have, or whether you are from a X community. I mean, some of them do, absolutely, but largely they care only about your talent. They care about what you have to offer, and they care about whether or not it makes their 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes on the internet worth a good experience. And if they do, they're more than happy to kind of push you and let everyone else know that they found this amazing person, who has this incredible talent or thought process to share with the world.
I disagree. I do think that there are a lot of opportunities that social media poses, but regardless of which, a mandatory membership fee would mean that only a certain privileged chunk of the society would have access to it, and that's really unfair. The world is connected in unimaginable ways. The reach and accessibility of social media is immense. I also think that it has sort of provided a platform for the often marginalized groups to voice their opinions. and I think adding a fee to it could take that away from them.
I disagree with that completely. I think that'll completely defeat the purpose of social media. As I have repeatedly been saying, the thing that makes social media so great is the fact that it is democratic, is the fact that it is equally accessible to everybody, is the fact that it is there is no hierarchy of who gets to express and who gets to say and who gets to comment and who gets to nobody is deciding who gets to be on it. So the moment you make it you ask for a certain amount of money, then again it becomes a certain kind of upper class expression, and we already have a lot of upper class expression. We definitely need to widen the reach of expression of anybody who is not from your not from a certain background and section of society, but to everybody irrespective of where they come from.
I disagree. Taking from my thoughts on social media and violence, I think we should actively work towards limiting hate speech and abuse on different platforms. I definitely feel like there should be better mechanisms in place to ensure that. I also do think that people often, like under the garb of free speech, get away with bullying and harassment, and that's not okay.
I think there is a very important thing to distinguish, and that is between free speech and hate speech. Hate speech is often seen as coming under the larger subset of a larger superset of free speech, except that it cannot be that. To say something hateful, to say something malicious, to say something negative and particularly toxic deliberately, with the intent of causing harm, with the intent of causing duress, with the intent of causing a certain amount of hurt. And I know that's very tricky. How do you kind of measure intent? How do you decide intent? But there is certain kind of hate speech which targets not the powers to be, but the powerless. And the moment you have speech that is targeting the powerless, that is hate speech, and that cannot come under free speech. And that's something very important for us to recognize. I feel like people try to equate people criticizing or dissenting against powerful folks and the government, or any government or any powers, and by saying that okay, this is also hate speech, except that speaking truth to power is a democratic right that is as old as democracy itself, that is as old as that's pretty much the one thing that history has always kind of taught us of people who speak truth to power. They are our heroes actually, but today we look at them and call them dissenters and anti-nationals, which is very surprising and quite sad for that matter. On the other hand, people speaking out against minority communities, speaking out against those who don't have a certain kind of voice in any case, whose voices are not being heard in the manner that they should be, who are not getting the amount of respect that they deserve in society. If they are speaking, if you're speaking against them, if you are particularly targeting them, if you're abusing them, if you're vilifying them, if you're demonizing them, it is hate speech.
These are my thoughts. I'm Haima. Thank you so much for tuning in.
So these are my thoughts. I am Nikhil. Thank you for tuning into Opinionated.